This is a good thing, right? Not so fast. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Apple supporting California's quote-unquote right to repair bill and what is being called a stunning reversal, because Apple typically gatekeeps the repair process. And let me explain. If you have an Apple iPhone, iPad, iMac, MacBook, Apple Watch, whatever kind of Apple product you have, they want you to take that to the Apple store to get worked on, repaired, upgraded, or whatever. They don't want you to fix it at home, and they don't want you to go to a third-party independent repair place to get it fixed. It's so bad that they don't let these people, independent repair shops, have the needed tools to fix it. They make it impossible for you to go anywhere else other than the Apple store, which is ridiculous because it's going to cost a lot of money, it'll take a lot of time, and it shouldn't be that way. Some things should be kind of simple. Can I give you a quick example? Now, I'm a computer guy. I can fix your computer. If you have a desktop computer, a Windows, typically Linux, like a PC, I can fix that no problem with the physical parts. Easy. With an Apple product, like let's say, for example, an Apple iMac, they have the memory, the RAM soldered onto the motherboard. So I can't fix it. Now, on my rig right here that I built myself, I can open it up, take out the RAM, put in new RAM. Takes me no more than 5 minutes. It's an easy process. It's like putting toast in the toaster. But you can't do that with an Apple iMac. They want you to take that to the store and either get it upgraded or buy a brand new iMac for $2,000 and $3,000. Now, maybe if you buy one of those towers they have for $5,000, you might be able to fix it that way. But then everything in there is proprietary. The tools to do more intensive repair, like motherboard repair, it's all proprietary. But now all of a sudden they say, hey, we're going to support this bill that gives you the right to repair. Now, before we go any further into it, let's look at a news clip. Well, actually, we're going to look at this article headline. Then we're going to get to the news clip. And everything I'm talking about right now will be in the box. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But you see the headline here. Surprise, Apple now supports California's right to repair. Apple, in a quote-unquote major reversal, is now expressing support for SB 244, which requires companies to provide customers and repair shops with tools, parts, and manuals to fix devices. So I would presume this would give you the ability to just go to a regular website, maybe not apple.com, and buy things to fix Apple products. But I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm always thinking that it's still going to be a proprietary thing that's going to be very expensive and also very complicated to repair. But before we go down that road, let's get into this news clip from Yahoo, and let's go ahead and roll it.
Here's a staunch opposition Apple changing course on California's right to repair bill. The legislation will give people the ability to do more of their own repairs without a trip to the Genius Bar. Yahoo Finance's senior tech reporter Ali Garfinkel joins us now with more. And Ali, we were all a little bit taken aback by Apple's about face with this one.
There's no two ways about it, Shauna. This is definitely a sea change, because remember how this all historically worked, right? I have an iPhone, for example, and historically when my iPhone broke, I hopefully still have Apple Care, and I really only have one option, and that's go to the Apple Store, go to the Genius Bar. And the reality is that's a really narrow funnel that has generated billions for Apple. Now, we don't know exactly how much Apple Care generates, but we do know that Apple Care is part of Apple's booming services business. Now, remember, that services business in February, revenue hit an all-time high of $20.8 billion. But I'd argue that this for Apple
Wait a minute. Can we rewind that right quick? How much was that number? What was that number? Let's rewind just briefly.
That Apple Care is part of Apple's booming services business. Now, remember, that services business in February, revenue hit an all-time high of $20.8 billion.
So they have services. not just the hardware, which you see right here, the iPhone, the iPad, iMac, MacBook, Apple Watch. They have services. So subscriptions, your cloud, your Apple Care, I guess Apple iTunes, all those things would count as services if you pay for it monthly. Subscriptions, things of that nature. $20 billion in 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, off the services. That's why they want you to go to the Apple store to get your hardware fixed. Because if you could repair on your own, they're not getting the Apple Care fee or subscription or whatever that is. I have an iPhone. I refuse to get the Apple Care subscription. If I need to get another phone, then so be it. The only reason I have that phone is because of friends and family. If not for that, I would not have it. Android all day till the casket drops. I do not like Apple products because of this reason. They're so money hungry. They do things that are totally anti-consumer, okay, anti-private industry. I don't like them. I don't like what they do. The products are good, but I don't like their practices as a company, personally.
But I'd argue that this for Apple is even bigger than numbers, Shauna. Remember, limited repair options keep you inside the Apple ecosystem and really allow Apple to control this customer experience that is so, so important to them. However, they're now supporting this right to repair legislation in California. And so essentially what they're saying, for real, in a full-throated way for the first time, is that we are ready to help you do it yourself. It's a massive change.
It is a massive change, and you have to wonder what the business case is for Apple's turnabout. I mean, what is that? And to what extent do you think California is setting the tone for other states to follow?
It's a good question, Akiko. And I will say that though this seems a little bit out of the blue, it's actually not as surprising at a second glance. For instance, there have been a lot of legal and cultural forces that have been pushing for this sort of change for some time. For instance, let's look at 2023 so far. 20 states have already filed right to repair legislation. It's sort of a rare bipartisan issue, and some of these laws have even already been passed. In Colorado, for instance, a right to repair law that focuses on software and ag tech is set to go into effect as soon as January 2024. Now, the other thing, too, is that there's a cultural movement here. It's called the Fix It movement. It's web-based, and it's about environmental awareness, reducing waste, and a sort of extreme DIY, saying, hey, I actually can repair my iPhone with none of the tools. The other thing, too, here, though, that's important is even though this looked like a massive change for Apple, in fact, they've actually been having a little give here and there for years, right? They've been making really small concessions as recently as the last 2 years, I would say. For instance, in 2021, they launched a self-service repair program. And in 2022, they actually did start offering customers the ability to replace their own batteries.
Oh, wow.
Apple is reported.
That is so great, replacing the battery. Remember back in the day for guys right around my age or maybe a little bit older than me, remember back in our day, we had, if your phone fell on the ground, the battery would come flying out. Remember those days? I remember those days. And that's pretty much what's going on. But I'm willing to bet that the things they're going to give you, the tools are still going to be proprietary, meaning you got to get them from Apple still. So that's still going to be a revenue stream. They're going to just change the way they make revenue. That's kind of what I'm looking at. All right, I'm going to read some of this article right here, and then I'll wrap it on up, put the bow clean on top. So they're endorsing the bill, SB 244. It requires manufacturers to give customers, independent repair shops, appropriate tools, manuals, and parts to repair damaged electronics and appliances. Apple supports California's Right to Repair Act, so all Californians have even greater access to repairs while also protecting their safety, security, and privacy. Apple said in a statement to The Verge, we create our products to last, and if they ever need to be repaired, Apple customers have a growing range of safe, high-quality repair options. Okay, and then this person says, I've been working on the right to repair in California for the past 6 years, and I'm so appreciative that Apple has stepped up to support this important consumer and environmental protection policy. This is an historic day for the movement. And shout out to Louis Grossman. He is really big in this space, probably the biggest voice in this space, and it wouldn't be right for me to do a video like this without talking about him. And I don't think that The Verge or anywhere else would want to give him some kind of shine. So shout out to Louis Grossman. You guys, please go subscribe to him on the YouTubes. Okay, so they've lobbied against the right to repair in the past. Let me see. I'm reading here. It's not much. California's final right to repair bill should balance device integrity, usability, and physical safety with the desire of consumers to be able to repair rather than to replace a device that needs repair. Okay, Apple writes in a letter to Senator Eggman, legislation that correctly balances these concerns ensure the manufacturers are able to comply with the law while protecting consumers and their devices. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on. But I'm willing to bet what's going to happen is you're still going to have proprietary things that you got to use, and it's going to be complicated. And that's probably what's going to go on. But I'm glad they're doing something, but they still got a way to go. I'm still not going to go out and buy an Apple product. And some of the things that Apple does, other companies are starting to do as I close. So I have two phones here, okay? I'm not trying to flex. I'm just saying this is what I have. My iPhone is right here, and then my Android is right here, okay? The green and then the black. That's the green is the iPhone, the black is the Android. Now, the iPhone does not have expandable storage. And I think the Samsung might be the same way. I can't really remember. But the iPhone may have started the trend of non-expandable storage. So what I mean is, on your phone, you typically have a slot for your your SIM card. And in that same slot will be a space for a micro SD. So you have two spaces, maybe even three spaces. Your SIM card for your carrier, and then an SD card for storage. So let's say, for example, your device came with 128 gigabytes of storage on board. You could put a micro SD in there for an extra terabyte of storage because all the storage would be right there on the device. But Apple decided to not give you that option anymore. So you have to purchase what you want on board from the beginning, which is going to be more than what it would be to simply buy or to use a pre-existing micro SD card you already have. And if you want to get more storage, rather than getting the micro SD, now you got to buy a subscription, meaning the cloud service. You see how that goes? You see how that works? Now, other companies starting to do the same thing. I think it might be the same way on this one where, you got to get their cloud storage. Now they're starting to just try to eat off of all the services. I don't like that. Give me a product that works without having to buy a subscription. Maybe I don't want a subscription for every single thing. Maybe my computer should just turn on and work, and I could be able to fix it with no problem rather than spending an arm and a leg on the service and the subscription and the fee and then paying more for the hardware anyway, paying the Apple premium for the hardware. I don't like their practices. I hope that this right to repair bill is a sincere thing and you're able to really fix stuff and you're able to really not have to be strung up by the Apple store. That's what I hope. But I doubt it because of all the other things that Apple does to get your money. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What do you think about Apple's business practices? You know me, I'm going to just say it. I'm not a fan of what they do. If not for friends and family, I would not have an iPhone. There is no other reason. It is simply friends and family. That's it. I don't like my Android does everything they need to do. Does everything, especially the Androids that have the expandable storage. It's not dependent upon services. I can fix it myself if I need to, or take it to a shop. And definitely not my computer. Oh my goodness. No. PC Tower that I can completely customize. I could buy all my parts. If anything goes wrong, I could pop it open, fix it, and I'm done. And I'm not spending an arm and a leg for that quote unquote privilege. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.